customers. So it's trying to get that insight to understand what is actually going on in terms of the relationship. What are the key takeaways? Are there things that we might need to look at as an organization, and maybe work on that in order to increase our sales pipeline. As we all understand, in a sales relationship, you've got the seller and you've got the buyer, and it's always good to maintain a good relationship between the two. But however, some people might perceive it, this relationship, or might see it slightly different. But there's many factors that can influence a relationship, just like how we relate, outside of business. But with customers, there are things, like when you reach out, how long does it take for, the next person to respond to you, the speed of the response that they give you, and so on and so forth. And within Dynamics 365, it's got AI capabilities, which are built in to the system, which help, in strengthening and building, a good customer relationship between the organization and its customers. So how are these sales, insights set up? There is, I'll probably say, they are broken into various things. We've got, the free sales insights features. We've got the advanced insight features. And then we've got, the sales insights app. So in terms of insights, they're broken into two, to be quite honest, where you've got the sales insights features, which include, your basic assistant cards, auto capture, email engagement. Does anyone have a good understanding of what email engagement is, from an maybe just a business perspective, not even an IT perspective? Anyone ready to take that on?
Yes.
Go on.
I think organizations use email to interact with customers, both existing and potential customers, to showcase product and services, as well as use a medium to resolve issues if there are. That's all I can say for now.
I think that's really good, and I think that's basically what it is. So when we talk of email engagement, we're basically talking about how we use the email medium to interact with our clients. So majority of the time, if you've got an organization that you deal with, or that you've got some sort of a relationship with, it's either you pick up the phone and you speak to that organization, or alternatively you can just log into your computer or get onto your phone and you write an email, and at the end of the day you've got a copy of that interaction that happened between yourself and the organization. So if there's anything that needs to be picked up, post that communication, you can still just go back, to that interaction and say, you know what, on this particular day, I told you I wanted X, Y, Z. And then you responded by saying that you will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things for me. But maybe those things have not happened, or maybe they've happened, which, sort of like makes up your relationship. So that could make or break your relationship. So email engagement is quite key when you're talking about sales insights. And then the other thing as well that we've got here is we've got the advanced insights feature, which includes the assistant, and it's got full capabilities of the assistant, which also includes things like notes, relationship analytics, whom you've spoken to, and it can predict things like leads and opportunity scoring. I know we've been going on in the last couple of sessions talking about leads and opportunities. Can anyone maybe in the group just tell everyone else what an opportunity is? Anyone who still remembers?
Yeah, Olumide here. Opportunity represents, I think, potential sales, new and established, for both new and established customers.
Okay. I think that's that's a good answer. I'll take that one.
Okay. I want to say something also, Dan.
Go
Okay, my
on.
name is Adebisi. Yeah, my name is Adebisi. Also, opportunity is once, let me just put in a form of explanation. Opportunity is once leads get qualified, then I think the next thing is opportunity. Opportunity is created in the customer engagement flow. And when we get to identify the stakeholders in the opportunity, then we curate records and also get to know who the competitors or particular product is or something like that. I think then once opportunity is created also, then we create the codes for the customer. Then we develop proposal, then do customer review with the CRM.
Okay, I'm going to just hold you there for a minute, and I don't want you to go away because I need to revert to you at some point. So hold it right there. Please don't go away.
Okay.
I need someone to maybe let us know what a lead is.
Can I answer that as well?
If you want to answer that, that's fine, but there is a lead-on question after that. So whilst you've got the opportunity, I'll give it to you.
Okay. First of all, lead is first of all part of the sales process life cycle, and is a potential business. When there is a lead, I think then we have the requirement follow-up, and with consistent follow-up with a lead, then we can get a business. And from lead, we generate opportunities and system.
Right.
Okay.
And that is a good answer, but there is a word that we normally use. I don't know if you remember what happens to a lead to become an opportunity.
A lead is a qualified customer that has shown interest.
Exactly. So the word that I was looking at, you've just said it, is the qualify. So we've got the lead, we qualify the lead, and we get the opportunity. So yeah, I think we've got people here that are really moving on with what we are learning here, and I'm quite pleased that all the answers that I've got have been really good answers. So kudos to everyone who's who's chimed in the conversation. So Lola says, send email to your customers about your product updates, communication, and product and services. Yep. So I'll take that for email engagement, using email engagement to view interactions such as alerts, click a link opened, attachments. Yep. So Abibola, that's a good answer as well. And Lola comes back again and she says, you qualify your lead and you create leads record as opportunity. Fantastic. And Abimbola says a lead is someone who's interested in products or services you provide, a potential sale. Yeah, that's great. So I think, yeah, I'll take all those responses. They are quite good. So moving on, I think essentially what it is the sales insights basic feature, comes available free with the application, whilst the premium one features require a sales insights license. So if you want to have the premium feature, you then actually need to get a sales insights license for your organization, or for people to use it within the organization.
As a lot for you and for David.
And also, depending on what features are available to them based on their licensing, administrators generally are able to configure certain features of the sales insights functionality. And to do this, you need to purchase a license so that you can use that feature. So before you begin, there are a couple of things that you need to do in order to install, configure, and follow the features. I see someone has got their hand up. Gordon, please go ahead.
Yes, I was just about to ask a question before you move to this slide.
Sure.
So on the slide before this one, can you kindly demonstrate or show us the second bullet point? It says include assistant full capabilities with studio. Can you show us an example of what that really is?
Yeah, so you've got the basic assistant, which comes with cards and auto capture and email, but you've got the advanced feature, which comes with all the capabilities of it. So if you get the free one, it's got limitations on it. So you can't use everything that is provided by the sales insights feature. So it's like you getting an application, but you get it for free and not getting the premium version.
Okay.
So you have limitations on that application.
Okay.
Maybe you might not be able, to save data, or maybe you might not be able to, to send an email out and things like that. But if you get a premium version of application, they're giving you all the capabilities that functionality, provides.
Okay. I get it.
So that's the only sort of like difference between the free one and the advanced one.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. But when we get into using the product itself, when at some point when you do demonstrations, I will try and show you how it actually works vis-a-vis just doing theoretical knowledge transfer.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So before you begin, there is quite a few things that one would need to look out for. So sales insights generally they use integrations with several other applications for many of its features. For example, you've got LinkedIn data that can be used, for relationship analytics. And this is done in a solution when it's installed in D365 and configured correctly. So there is a LinkedIn connector out there that you can plug into Dynamics 365, and you can start to pull in data from LinkedIn into CRM, and it will give you various insights. And probably we might need to just to take a step back and say what is our understanding of just insights in general. Anyone who wants to give it a go?
I think insights will be about the market, how sales is going, and who is buying what, who is contacting, and so on.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Anyone else? So yeah, I would say if I just break it down, to the very simplest level, is you're basically looking at gaining accurate and deep understanding of something or someone. So you're basically trying to get as much information as possible so you can gain a good understanding of maybe the sales that are going on. And once you get that deeper understanding, then you're more empowered to make more decisions moving forward, whichever way you would want to go, or if you want to position your team or your business moving forward, because you've got a good understanding of what's happening at that particular point in time and what's happened prior to that period. It gives you a deeper understanding to say, what, this is what has been happening. But for me, maybe if I need to make sure that I maintain my relationship with my customers, I need to make sure that I keep on doing X, Y, Z, because from the insights, that is what has been making customers return and buy my products, or this particular product is the one which has been selling quite a lot. So you've got a good understanding of how things stand at that particular moment, and you can then plan maybe for the future state to say, what, in the next XY period, maybe we want to grow our sales, but in order to grow our sales, what do we need to gear ourselves for, or gear ourselves with, to be able to hit those targets that you set yourselves. So you've got things like emails, where you ensure that you've got Exchange server, and you configure that with the mailbox records that are already going back and forth for each user. And you then make sure that you've got features that help you to capture all those insights, with things like auto capture, the email engagement or relationship analytics. So I think we've touched a little bit on email engagement, and auto capture as well is it's something. It's a functionality where you can set it to capture a certain information, at source, so the system can automatically do that. And with relationship analytics, you're basically looking at the relationship that the organization has with the external stakeholders. So be your customers or other stakeholders, and how that relationship stands at that particular moment in time. And then you've got things like LinkedIn, where you can plug into Dynamics 365, and you can use that, for the relationship analytics that I was talking about. And what happens is with that LinkedIn navigator, you plug in LinkedIn to Dynamics 365. So there's a connector that is already available. So you connect it to Dynamics 365. So what it then does, it gets information from LinkedIn, and it writes it. It gets information from LinkedIn, and it writes it into Dynamics 365 when as soon as that navigator is enabled. And then you've got SharePoint and OneDrive as well for business, and this can be taken advantage of by sharing attachments from email engagement. And all you need to do is just to enable SharePoint and OneDrive for your organization, to use that. Does anyone not know anything about SharePoint or OneDrive?
SharePoint is a cloud-based kind of platform where you can store your document. It's safe and secured there.
That's correct. So with SharePoint, yes, it's it does store your documents, but it's got quite a lot of capabilities as well. But for the purposes of this class, if we go into SharePoint capabilities, I think we might be going off tangent. But in a nutshell, it's a tool that can be used to store large bits of attachments or documents, because what happens is Dynamics 365, it's an online instance and it's in the cloud. So you would not want to store any documents within that cloud due to space considerations, because the more space you use, the more you're likely going to get charged in terms of storage. So the ideal place to store attachments and any other documents will be SharePoint. And OneDrive is basically pretty much similar in that it's also something that you can use to store documents online. And how do we enable advanced insights? So when you deploy Dynamics 365 for sales, with the insights, they come in already available within your organization. So you don't buy anything, to get these, to get access to these, because they already come in with the solution. But even though it comes, with the solution, some of the features might not be fully configured, but they will still appear, within the application. But if you then decide to go with the premium version of the insights, the features will be they will not be available by default, and you need to actually enable these features by accepting, terms and conditions for your organization. And how do you access these features? You go to the Sales Hub app by changing the Sales Insights setting. So on the Sales Hub app, there's a setting on there where you simply click, and you can then go on to try the Sales Insights. But there's a particular section which I will probably show you a little bit later, where it says you need to get AI capabilities with Sales Insights, and that's where you go and you try these insights. And normally it takes maybe just a couple of minutes to complete installation, and then it will appear on your buy. And once it's there, you can then go on to start using it as and how you would want to use it. So if you notice, this is the Sales Insights setting, how it would appear, at first instance. And there's various sections under there, like full capabilities. And then if you want to exploit the full capabilities, all you need to do is just you go manage. It pops up something, and then you do the necessary clicks to get it going, as well as the auto capture. And if you notice here, like we said, auto capture comes freely with the application. So you can see it already says it's free, and all you need to do is just to manage. So basically you are just configuring for those things, so you can start working with them. And how do we configure Sales Insights? So there is quite a couple of sections that you would need to go through in order for you to do the configuration. So you've got the Assistant Studio, which allows you, to configure, the Sales Accelerator, and it actually helps you, or helps the sellers to focus on what really matters within a single pane of glass for all the important work. So you've got everything in one place, and you can manage it. You can manage it there. And this provides access to the Assistant Studio functionality. And then you've got the Productivity Intelligence as well, which looks at features such as auto capture, auto engagement, and notes analysis. And this is basically things that configured so that they can do things in the background, and you don't really have to be invoking those things at every turn. And then you've got the next one is our connection insights and the predictive models. So basically with the connection insights, we are just looking at purely relationships and connections of related features, within the analytics side of things, and maybe looking at things like talking points and who knows whom, that sort of thing. So with who knows whom, you're basically looking at someone, but you would also want to know what other relationships they have and who they know. that sort of thing. So you can trace, back and forth who they are connected to and who they speak to. And with predictive models, we are simply just looking at scoring fixtures, which score things, like our leads and our opportunities. So what it does a bit of predictive work. And remember, we are talking here of AI functionality. So it does, study, things, and it then gets, an understanding, and then it will start to predict, scoring, or start predicting things or how things will be moving forward. And how do we create, insight cards with the Assistant Studio? So with the Assistant Studio, what it does is it sort of like provides actionable insights into how users, well, not how users, it's actually, it provides actionable insights for users, rather, within Dynamics 365 sales. And the insights cards, might range from reminding you when you've got an upcoming meeting, or it reminds you to say that, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, remember, you've got this flight, so it gives you the flight, information. Or it might give you recommendation on products, or even recommendation on next steps that you might need to take in order to achieve a sale, or in order to cement your relationship with your customers. So with time, this sort of thing has evolved. So the assistant has evolved over time, and it provides your sellers with best and most relevant information to help them secure or win deals, to keep your customers happy. And once you keep your customers happy, you've secured those customers in the foreseeable future. And one feature that customers have always wanted was to have more control over cards, the ability for them to be able to create inside cards for their organizations. And there's various things that you can do with this assistant. You can also go on to perform tasks that were previously freely available, such as just turning cards on and off. So you could have a card, but you think, what, this card, I don't need to use it at the present moment, you turn it off. But if you then decide in the future, what, there is a use case that probably requires us for us to use that particular card, you can then just go back to the settings and you turn it on again. So you can turn it on and off, as required. And with the advanced capabilities, you've got greater control over the entire feature, where you create customized insights cards, and this this is this diagram here just shows you what a sales administrator can actually do. So we can see at this point, the sales administrator logs into the Assistant Studio, which is pre-built into Dynamics 365. So they then select a template for a card, and they put the logic of what they want to do. So you put your custom logic in there to say, I want to do A, B, C, D in order to achieve this. And once you put that logic, you then save and you exit. But this, remember, it's something that you will be doing outside using another tool as well, which is Power Automate. And Power Automate, is like the automation tool that is used for Dynamics 365. So we've got a question here from Adebisi. My question is, a lead, can a lead be individual as well, or has to be an organization? Does anyone want to take that up? Can a lead be an individual, or it can be an organization?
Yeah. Can I answer that, please?
Please go ahead.
Yes, a lead can be an individual or an organization. And if it's an individual, I think it's referred to as contacts. And if it's an organization, I think that's when it's referred to as account.
Yes.
After
So,
being
yes. So as an organization, it will be an account, right?
yes.
And for a lead, basically we are talking about an individual. But the equivalent of a lead corporate wise will be an organization. Does anyone have a different take on that one? So I think we're all at par, and I hope at a BC that answers your question. If you need further explanation, do not hesitate, to raise your hand and we can go over it again. So I'm just going to quickly go into the Assistant Studio features. So I think we've got a new question that has just popped up. Okay, Adebisi says is good with the explanation. Thanks, Adebisi. So going into the Assistant Studio features, you can notice there are various features within the Assistant Studio. And you've got, different things there that are marked, in red. So you've got the first one, which is the button which says create a new card inside. And what it is with Power Automate is just a connector for sales insights. And you can build your custom cards that are triggered based on the specific needs of your organization. So number one is where you go on and you click, and it gives you the ability to create a new inside card. And remember, like I said, once you do that, it's taking you to Power Automate, and Power Automate is where you will then go and you do, the necessary configurations. And then number two, in the second box, it provides us, with a tab that allows you to quickly view insights cards that are most popular, or insights cards that have been recently used, or cards of high priority, or those that have been created by your organization. And then table 3, this particular table here, it just displays all the cards that are available within your organization. And on the cards, there's quite a few things that you can do. You can perform various actions. and you can do actions such as, editing the settings. You can, disable a card. Remember earlier on, I talked about you can enable and disable. So here, this is where you do that. And you can also assign security roles, and you can prioritize what cards you might want to use. And maybe just before I go to OMO, I will probably just quickly talk about number 4. That's your search functionality, which allows you to just basically go in there and you do a search on the cards that you have. So you just query, if you've got the name of the card that you just type it in there and boom, it comes up. So Omo, I think you had your hand raised.
Yes, thank you for having me. I just wanted to ask that as a business analyst who wants to be working on Dynamics 365,
Yes.
is it a must that we must know Power BI? Do you think it's a must?
I would probably say it's not a must. But it's imperative you know what Power BI capabilities are. So you do not have to be a Power BI guru, but you need to know what Power BI capabilities are. Because if you work with a particular tool and you know what the capabilities of that tool, it becomes easier for you even to proffer solutions. Remember, the job of a business analyst is to go out there, elicit requirements, and at times, you proffer solutions.
Okay.
Because at the end of eliciting your requirements, you've got the functional requirements that you list out to say someone wants to be able to do X, Y, Z with the application, but it will not look good on you if you come up with requirements that do not align with Power BI. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from.
Yes, I do. So
as a professional, you just need to get a good understanding of what it is that the product can do, and you then proffer solutions based on your understanding. But the finer details is probably things that you would leave to the Power BI developers, or the business intelligence consultants that will actually do the development of what needs to be pulled and what reports need to be done.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Anyone else with another question?
Yeah, I just want to ask that what are the chances that if I join an organization that uses Dynamics 365, I will have to be the one that will configure this? Is it possible that if they are like already using Dynamics 365, they would have done all of this?
That's a good question. But what I can say is, remember, you join different organizations that are in at different states in terms of their journey of using the product. So you might join an organization that is already far down the line, with maybe their digital transformation journey, and they've already got this already configured. Or you might actually get into an organization and they haven't got this configured, because you've got done enterprises which only started trading maybe in the last 3-4 years, and we we've heard, how Dynamics can do this, how Dynamics can do that. We've gone on and, bought the product, we've got it in-house, but we are doing basic stuff, within the sales pipeline. And you come in as a business analyst and you see that opportunity, or as a consultant and you see that opportunity, it's something that you can point out to say, you know what, hey ho, yes, you're using the product, but you are not using it to its full capacity. There is a few capabilities which are still lying underneath that you can use, but then it also depends with your role as you join. Are you going in there maybe as a business analyst? If you're a business analyst, all you can do is provide, to say, I think it would be fantastic if we exploit this functionality within the product. The product has got capabilities to do A, B, C, D, which we are not using at the present moment. Or you're going in as a functional consultant. You can say, you know what, yes, there's this functionality which we are not doing, or you've been asked to do it. But then again, remember, they will probably give you an environment that you would probably do a proof of concept. You take it back to the business, you say, you know what, these are the capabilities, this is what it can do. They sign it off, and then it will go on, to be implemented maybe in your production environment. Or if you are going in there as a developer and you think, you know what, development is my strength, probably it will fall on your lap to say, you know what, this is what we have, can you configure it for us? I hope that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Anyone else with any other question before we proceed? Okay, great. So we shall proceed. So now we're going to look at how we can optimize rankings on Insights cards. So there's rules that can be used. And one of the four of the properties when editing the rules is, if you notice here, we've got various fields that we look at, and we say, you know what, the rule that we would want to implement is to say, if an account with a particular revenue, which is greater than X amount, we do this. Or we want to implement a rule on the opportunity, and we say, if the opportunity has that estimated revenue, or a revenue which is greater than a particular amount, then we want to optimize the ranking. Or you can look at leads. As the leads come in, we are saying before that lead converts and they eventually become a customer or whatever, you would want to look at their rating. And if their rating is warm, then you want to rank it higher. And equally so, you can do that on contacts to say, if a contact has got a status of active, then I want to make sure they are ranked high up there. So there's different attributes that you can use, which are your entity, the attribute type, the condition, and the value. And the value is captured right at the end. The name is right at the beginning, and after the name, you've got the attribute type, and then the condition where you are saying, is it equal to this? Is it greater than that? Is it less than this? And so on and so forth. And then looking at configuring productivity intelligence. There is various things as well that we can do to configure, things like email engagement, the auto capture, and the notes analysis, which we spoke about earlier on. And the auto capture, what it basically does is just monitoring your email activities, and then makes a suggestion what records should we associate with those email activities based on whatever factors that have come through. So in most cases, an email, you only want to make sure that you are looking at the sender who has sent that email. And maybe secondly, you want to look at the contents of that email. And then the notes analysis, you are basically just looking at suggestions on auto create activities based on the text that is entered in a note. So you've got the notes activity. If someone puts some information or on a note, they write some text on a note. Based on that text, you would want it, to make, various suggestions to you. And this screen that we're looking at now is just basically, how we configure the email engagement. So there's a slider that you simply just need to, to toggle. And what it then does is automatically it enables the particular engagement. And if you want to get to that engagement slider, it resides under the email engagement on the menu section. As well as the auto capture, it's pretty much the same thing as well. All you need to do is just go to auto capture and you toggle that as well. But as you can notice, this usually is enabled by default. And then how do we configure the connection insights? So there is three things that need to be looked at to configure, the relationship insights. And you've got the analytics, you've got the talking points, and you've got who knows who. So those are the three things that you need, to configure when you do the insights. And with the connection insights feature in sales, what happens is your organization can build a stronger or a lasting relationship with your customers. And the feature itself lets your sellers know when a relationship with the customer isn't as strong as it could be. And additionally, you've got features that can even provide suggestions on conversations for specific customers. So if you notice, we go into certain retail shops, Maybe we want to buy, you know, a new phone, or maybe want to buy a new gadget, or maybe, you know, it's you know, food items that we want to buy, you know, in a particular store. You've noticed that you know, the sellers in there really know how to, you know, start conversations, and they know these kind of things, you know, that spark, you know, a conversation. And at times, you know, with relationship insights, it looks at the past communication that you've done with that particular customer. So it then gives you, you know, tips of things that you can use, you know, to start a relationship, you know, a conversation based on their past communication that you've had with that particular client. And the beauty of it is you can use it end to end. So it helps you, you know, from beginning to the end of a sale. So throughout the sale process, you can actually use the tool itself. So if you look at relationship insights, what it does is you're basically just monitoring activities that have happened between you and the customer, or that are happening between you and the customer. And based on those activities, you provide some sort of, you know, a score. And you then use, you know, your various actions, you know, to trigger score changes, and, you know, to make sure that you keep abreast with that relationship. And then you've got, you know, your talking points as well, where you're basically just identifying, you know, relevant things, you know, like what are the things, you know, that you can use as a talking point, you know, with your customer who's probably wanting to buy a television set. So you're probably going to start talking about what happens, you know, sport wise. Do you watch football? Do you watch rugby? Do you watch cricket? What's happening, you know, in the news, entertainment wise, and so on and so forth. And you use that past communication to provide you, you know, with the possible, you know, conversation starters. And when we look at who knows whom, you're basically identifying others within the organization that might have an existing relationship with that person, you know, a forward or backward relationship, be it, you know, a lead or a contact. And then it sort of like gives you the ability, you know, to request an introduction. So if you are an outsider and you know me, but you would want to interact with Deji, one other thing you can do is you can just come to me and you say, Dan, please, can you, you know, introduce me to Deji. I will then, you know, do the backward conversation with Deji to say, Deji, I've got XY person who's wanting to speak to you, and then do that introduction. So that's how it sort of like works. And then if we look at configuring the relationship analytics, with the analytics, it provides representation for KPIs. And before the relationship can be available, you know, to your users, you will need to configure it from the sales insights settings area of the sales app application. And after you enable that relationship, what you then need to do is you need to define which data source that the feature should use to collect that data. So you've got various data sources, which you can see, you know, underneath here, that you can use, you know, to to extract or collect that data. and then you use that, for your tracking for your KPIs. And KPIs, does anyone know what KPIs are? Anyone willing to give it a go?
Key performance indicator.
Sorry, I can hardly hear you.
Key performance indicator.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. So yeah, you can use that, to track your key performance indicators, and above all, the overall health. And if we look at the data sources, we've got Dynamics 365, which sort of like ingests all historical data from the Dynamics 365 cells. And this option, what it does, it requires to be turned on by default when you enable the relationship analytics. And then you've also got the LinkedIn and the data exchange. So this is what you need to make sure that you enable. And then you've got the LinkedIn data from LinkedIn, which is also ingested, for key performance indicator and health computation as well. But this option is only available when you install LinkedIn in Dynamics 365. Hence, we might not be seeing it here. And then when it comes to the data exchange, you've got 30 days of data, which comes from Exchange and is ingested, and for your KPIs and health computation. And the Exchange connector, it ingests 3 days of data each day until the last 30 days of the data that is completed. Obviously, looking at the time, we've got I think 30 more minutes to go. Do we want to park it here for today and then maybe open up a QA session? Because I know people might have questions and I don't want to keep piling information. I'd rather, we make it as interactive. So I'll probably stop here for today, but I'll open up the floor to questions and answers. And with this particular session, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to fire through any sort of question that you might want to fire. Yeah, so I'll open the floor to anyone, or to everyone rather. I know there's been questions, about user stories and people, looking at different streams. Now is the time, if you want to get clarity on those kind of things.
I would have asked you to show us the actual thing on the Dynamic 365, but it's still not working because I've just checked now.
Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll have a look at it again, but I think also to just solidify our knowledge, my thinking is with this lesson, we're only sort of like halfway through it, and I don't want to keep giving you things that you haven't got access to. And maybe what we might do is I'll look at it again, and once we get it going, in the next lecture, would have an opportunity to actually play around with those settings, maybe with everyone, because what I'm also wanting to do is just to make sure that in the next session, can we all make sure that we've got a device? I'll probably advise to have a laptop or so that we can use to log into the application. I know that's something that we've always wanted to do, so that when I show you these things, we actually want to do sort of like practical work as well, vis-a-vis just to have someone, talk about it and let you guys go off and do things. I know by the time you start looking at it, some of these things will probably be gone by then. So I think it'll be a good exercise if we all look at bringing in or making sure we log in with I'll probably say a laptop or an iPad, but definitely not a mobile phone, so that we can actually play around with these things in real time. And Abimbola says, should we say today's session is on configuration of sales insights? That's absolutely correct. So yes, we've been looking at sales insights, but I think majority of the things that I've been talking about in the last hour and a half or so, predominantly to do with configuration of sales insights. So yes, that's correct. Anyone else got a question? Or even a remark? Do not be shy. You can just pass a remark and say, you know what, the way you're delivering the course, it's not good enough. Can we have it, in a different format? Feel free. I think I've got Adebisi and Abimbola. They seem to be okay with the delivery. So thank you, guys. If you have any suggestions of how we can do things better as well, feel free to say them out. Because the more you say things, the more we have an understanding of what it is that you really need. And our desire is really to meet you at your point of need, and if possible, deliver what you sort of like desire in a fashion that you can easily understand or relate to. So what I'll probably do is, should I start firing questions then? I'm happy to do that. I've got two people that have got their hands raised. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yes, basically, I'm so sorry if I have to take you back, because I'm so sorry. This is my first time attending this section.
Okay.
I mixed two sections already, so this is my first time. I don't know if you have explained before, entity, as in, if you can explain entity how to create entity in Microsoft Dynamics 365, because I'm new to this thing, and this is my first time attending your lectures. So I missed the two other lectures, or 2 or 3 lectures that have gone so far. So I don't know if you have touched it. So I don't know if you can just give me an overview.
Okay, so what exactly do you want further explanation on? Sorry.
Okay, is the I know there is entity creation of entity or something like that in Microsoft. So I don't know what that word entity is, or I don't know, maybe you've touched it or not. So I don't know.
Okay, I think we have been talking about entities lately, but there is a change in terminology as well. So entities are basically just tables.
Okay.
So inside Microsoft Dynamics, you've got tables. So tables, what they do is they hold information regarding something. So it could be a contact. So you've got a contact entity, or the contact table that holds information pertaining a contact. So what information does it hold? It could be, the contact name. It could be the contact's address. It could be their contact's email. It could be, their telephone number. Things like gender. So basically, any information that pertains to that particular contact is kept within that table, the contact table. So that would constitute an entity. So you've got various other entities, like organizations. So it's a separate entity on its own, and it holds various information, and there are various entities that are within Microsoft Dynamics. But in a nutshell, that's what an entity is.
Thank you. Okay, I know much better now. Thanks so much.
No problem. So basically, I would probably, just summarize and say entities are just they are used, to model and manage business data within Microsoft Dynamics. And like I said, you've got various entities, like your account, it's an entity. You've got things like a case, it's an entity. You've got things like campaigns and so on and so forth. But within that entity, there's various attributes that you record against that entity. Things like your name, your address, maybe the unique ID of that person, or be it a student, they could have a student ID. Yeah, so it's just basically a table that resides on the database that holds data for the organization. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, very, very, yes.
Okay, fantastic. I think Olumide says by the time we have access to D365 platform, I think there'll be more interaction. Yeah, I think you will have access very soon. I'll make sure that as soon as I come off this call, I'll just try and push things around to just make sure that you've got that access. but I know some people, they already had access before, and I think it's something that started, is it today or yesterday? I'm not 100%, but we'll certainly look at that. And then Lola says, great jobs, Alex. Thank you. Alex is my second name. I'm actually Dan. Well, Alex is not here today, unfortunately. So it's me who's delivering the training, Dan. But all the same, I will tell Alex that he's been doing a fantastic job as well. And thank you for the good compliments. Anyone else with anything else to say? I think a message has just popped in. We need recordings of this training so that we can watch it and get more understanding. Or more, I think we've already got recordings. And these are recorded, and I know they are also being beamed live, if I'm not wrong, live on YouTube. But you can ask the admins, they'll tell you where you can get these recordings. But I know definitely they're being recorded. Thank you, Omo. Anyone else with anything else? Yeah, and Adebisi agrees that it is recorded. That's all right, Lola. Anyone else with anything else? Feel free to ask anything, you know, maybe just dynamics related. Or maybe I'll fire the question. I'll fire this question to this group. So in the Dynamics world, we've got Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales that we're using. Can someone tell me what are the highlights or what are the key things within Microsoft Dynamics 365 sales?
Can I try?
Please go ahead.
Okay, we have the leads, we have the opportunity, we have the quotes or something like that. We have the order and we have invoice.
Fantastic.
Then we have contact as well. We have, yes, we have contact, we have accounts that is under the customer management, which is account and contact. Then, I think those are the things I can remember for now. Dan?
That's good. Yeah, that's a good try. Anyone else wants to come in and you know, maybe chime in as well?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What are the key things or what are the highlights that are there within the Microsoft Dynamics 365 application? Or what benefits do we get out of Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales? I'll expand the question.
Okay. I think it can allow us to build relationships with customers, and it can also allow us to take actions based on the insights, especially from sales. It would also allow sales to close faster. And then it kinds of monitor top to bottom order of sales from I think from the start, from when the from when the customer calls or from when they contact the organization till the end. And I think there's also something about sales territories as well.
Yeah.
The settings and other advantages in it.
Fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for that. Quite comprehensive. Anyone else who wants to join in? Adebisi?
Yes, and I think to add to what the last caller said, I think it's also good for you for organization to know if there's a potential business in whatever they are doing. Like if a business is going to qualify is in a qualified state so that it can move further and prepare the opportunities and systems. I think that's just what I want to add. I think just to create that okay, just for the awareness of organization to know that okay, this business will be a potential one since it qualifies, and if it disqualifies, then they need to stop it.
Right, that's good. That's a good answer indeed. Anyone else with anything extra? And my follow-on question, where does Microsoft Dynamics 365 run on? Where do we keep the data? What is it called?
It's a cloud-based application.
Sorry, Olumide?
It's a cloud-based application.
Yes, it is. But there's a specific place where we keep the data.
Is it tables?
Or where, yes, it's tables, but where does the actual application run on? There is a keyword that I'm looking for. And these are the terms that we need to be aware of. And in the event that we are going to go to interviews, those are some of the key terms that you need to be throwing in here and there. And that will
Dynamic CRM, I think that's what.
Sorry, your line was just breaking there. Would you like to repeat that again?
Can we say on premises?
No, it's not because we are talking of a cloud application. So I think we've already established that it's sitting on the cloud, but it runs on something. I'll probably say, give you a clue. It's called Microsoft something, but it starts with a D.
This 365 CRM.
That's what it is, but there is something where it runs on or where the actual data sits on. It starts with a D followed by an A. So it actually runs on the Microsoft database.
Abimbola said it too. She wrote it. I forgot.
Sorry?
Abimbola, she wrote something like database. I think Abimbola said something like that. I think she wrote it. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
There was.
I think she has a question in that. I can't even remember again. I think someone, I know someone wrote something like database, like last question on database. Okay.
Yeah. I think there was various answers, but I think for the purposes of you being ready, you know, for the market, these are some of the key terms that you need to be aware of. So when you go into interviews, these are the key terms, you know, that the recruiters or companies are trying to listen into, because they want to understand that, you know, you've got a good understanding of the product, and once you also use these terms, it then reflects good on you to the recruiter, because they would see that you know, you've got a good understanding of the product itself.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, sure. Go on.
Then what's the difference between database and the cloud?
Right. The cloud, you are probably looking at something which resides, you know, I'll probably say, you know, in a virtual setting. And a database, you're basically looking at that thing that holds your data. Yes, a database could be sitting in the cloud. I don't know if that makes sense.
You've confused me
a bit more. Okay. So
if cloud is virtual, then
yes.
database itself.
So, you know, you've got a database, and a database is only a recording of information or structured data set held by a computer. So maybe if I use the computer, maybe that will make sense, because, you know, we've got data that is being held by a computer stored somewhere, right? So that's a database. You are storing structured data in a particular fashion in an I'll probably say in an application. That will be your database, right? But the cloud itself is something which is slightly different, because with the cloud, you're simply saying, you know, you want to have something, you know, that gives you the ability to store or access data over the internet. But with a database, you can have a database that's not in the cloud, which is, you know, maybe on your local computer. So you can just store your information maybe on a database which is on your computer. But if you are talking of the cloud now, you are talking of information that is stored somewhere, but you want to be able to access that information, but you don't want to use, you know, like you know, your hard drive. So if you've got a computer, for argument's sake, you've got a laptop, right?
Okay.
Or a PC. Your computer has got a hard drive, right?
Yes, please.
That's your database for your computer.
Then the cloud is virtual.
The cloud is virtual.
And it can be accessed at any time, irrespective of location.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Oh, 1 minute.
So with the cloud, I can create a cloud and put an application there, and then just give you guys, you know, credentials to access that cloud. Someone in Abuja can easily access that cloud application. Someone in New Zealand can easily access that cloud. All they need is just an internet connection. Someone in the Americas, they can easily access that application in the cloud, and all they need is just access to an internet connection. Okay. But however, if we talk about a database, yes, you could have a database which is sitting in the cloud, that is possible nowadays. Or you could have a database which is only storing, structured information, but it resides, locally, like on your laptop. So if I don't have access to the internet, and if I can't connect your information to your laptop, then I would not be able, to access the hard drive of your laptop or your PC.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense now.
Yes, understood.
Okay, fantastic.
I think that you want to add to that. I don't know.
Sorry?
I think that you want to probably add to that.
Yeah, sure.
No, that's okay. I think Dan already answered that.
Okay, I'm satisfied.
Okay. Is there anyone else with any other question? We've got 4 minutes remaining.
Okay, any question? Okay, any question at all, even maybe about the program or anything that you need clarification on? All right, please do ask now. It's all clear, everything's fine, you know what you need to do in your team, right? Okay, and Dan, if it would be good to get the environment fixed today, if you don't mind, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Leave it with me. And now I've got I'll get on it, and I'll ping you a message as soon as I get it up and running, because I had restarted something, and hopefully it's finished running now. Okay. Or if it's not, I'll just try and monitor it. And if I need to push anything through, I'll do that, and I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Cool. No problem. All right. Any final word from anyone? Any final question? Anything at all? Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet you guys on Sunday. All right. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.